my name is Raph. I am playing Grinner, a barbarian human, running from his past as an ex-soldier, now turned mercenary.
Hey everyone, I'm Jared. I'm playing the character of Luther. He's a Dhampir. He is a fighter that specializes in firearms, a bit of an investigator, and I am the great-great-great-uncle of Grinner.
Hi, I'm Jacob. I'm playing Tithla, the Goblin Ranger. She is a wonderful hunter and medical genius.
Hi, I'm Haz. I'm playing Theodore, the Satyr Druid, who's a kind of a charismatic Druid who's unwillingly taken Tithla under his wing as she's followed him through the forest for the past few months.
Hi, my name is Josh. I am from the RollTogether RPG stream, and I will be playing Killian Maxwell, a half-elf warlock who has come to Barovia. He was with the party previously but has lost them and has joined up with the Tempest on their adventures.
G'day, I'm Tom. I'm playing Jonor, the Aasimar wizard. He is on the pursuit of good and evil, finding out the best and worst in this world, and he's doing that with a little bit of naivety and optimism.
And I'm Owen, the Dungeon Master of our Curse of Strahd campaign. A warning, gentle viewer. Curse of Strahd is a horror-themed Dungeons & Dragons campaign, which means you may hear adult language or adult themes throughout this episode. Hello! Hello! Welcome, everybody. It is wonderful to see all of your gorgeous faces once again joining us for our Curse of Strahd campaign. Thank you so much for coming and joining us for the premiere D&D 5th edition horror campaign. Now, we left on a bit of a cliffhanger last session, and I promise... What do you mean? What do I mean? Literally, that's a good point. Yeah.
We have a habit of doing this. We leave it on a cliffhanger, then disappear for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. I'd love to pretend it's like a really clever marketing ploy, but it's just a combination of like bad luck, sick players, and Jarrett's terrible internet. We will be returning with that cliffhanger very, very shortly, I promise. The only behind the scenes things I have to share is thank you everybody who's been joining me for the playthrough of Surviving the Aftermath. I have now completed the single player campaign of Surviving the Aftermath. The last few episodes will be coming out in the next couple of days. In fact, when you're watching this, I think the final episode will be coming out tomorrow for you if you're watching this on YouTube, or maybe the day after. So all finished with that. I am very much looking for some new recommendations for things that I can play as like a short form campaign. However, the next game I've actually already recorded, and it's a colony sim city building game called Synergy, and it is incredible. It's a free demo out on Steam right now. I thoroughly recommend checking it out. It's very much, it's like a little sci-fi-ish city builder set on an unknown alien planet, and the art style is like sci-fi Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. I think from what I've looked at, it's very much inspired by this French artist called Mobius, who I love his work so much. So I'm really, really enjoying it. And it's such a unique take on the city building thing, because like you don't know this planet. And so part of what you're doing is researching the world that you live in to find out what you can use and how you can use it, and the way the quests and the larger open world sort of open up for everybody is really, really good. I cannot wait for the full version to come out. The demo alone is really impressive, and I think I may be wrong on this, but it looks like everything has been hand drawn, every asset. If that is true, I think it is. That's fundamentally mind blowing to me, and such an inspiration for any artist to look at and go, wow, what incredible work. So that will be coming out. I've already recorded that. That's already done. But I am still looking for new suggestions. Going to be very much looking forward to that. So yeah, if you've got any suggestions, chuck them in the comments. Otherwise, I'll look as well and see what I can find. I did have one person suggest on Discord that I should play through a modded version of Fallout 4. There's now like collections. You don't have to make your own mod list anymore. You can go to Nexus and click a button and it downloads the entire like 600 plus mods, 20 gigabytes of extra content just straight to your computer, and it works without any extra effort. So
but it not working is part of the fun of the mod.
It's funny. You're so right, though. I think part of my main enjoyment of Fallout 4 was troubleshooting my mod load order.
and then being done with the game by the time you actually got them all to work.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, the last time I did a modded series on the Lost Archives, it was The Witcher 3, and I was playing with 8 mods. And I mean, look, there's a short that you can watch where I'm in the tutorial area of Kaer Morhen. I go down to learn how to use the sword, and one of the mods I've loaded I haven't done properly, and so people's faces are static items that stay in place while their bodies move around. It is horrifying. Yeah, you can see. I'm pretty sure it's on our YouTube Shorts and on our TikTok. It is genuinely hilarious. If you want to see me like break down in tears crying because I can't keep a straight face, perfect example. You can find that for free online, and it was early days Lost Archives, so I just fell apart for like 20 minutes. It was good.
If you want a fun one, the exact opposite, the Skyrim day 1 release version, completely unpatched. Try and play through that and see how far you're able to
Is that
get.
A thing you can actually get? Like you can download to play?
I think so. I mean, I've seen someone else try it.
Oh my god. One of my favorite ones was Skyrim Glitches was, I think it might have even been the no day 1 patch where you go to be executed and like it ends up glitching out your body, and so you're just a pair of floating hands and a head.
Good one.
Which is good. It's a classic.
One.
It's a classic.
It just works.
It just works. Oh, I've missed hearing that. So yeah, I give you suggestions, looking for them. Otherwise, I guess I can sink another 600 hours into modded Fallout 4. It does look, the mod list has sim settlements in it, which is the greatest mod that was ever invented, and I always will play through and have a great time in. And I think they've just released Chapter 3, so okay, maybe I will take a look at that. I'll keep you posted. The only other fun news I have to share is that I am not quite in the new space just yet. We have moved all of our stuff in, but we're not there because we are dog sitting my parents' new puppy. She's only, I think, 15 weeks old at this point, and learning toilet training in 2 separate locations simultaneously turns out to be way too much work for a tiny pup. So we're just going to keep crashing at the old space. However, I'm not in my normal upstairs setup because it's too bloody hot in Australia at the moment. I'm downstairs in the aircon. It's in an area with very little soundproofing. So if you hear some dogs barking, if you hear a bit of an echoing, I'm so sorry. I will go back in and do my best to clean up the audio as best I can. I've isolated my own audio, so I should be easier able to do this. But Haz, I'm gonna be coming and asking to borrow those soundproofing baffles very shortly. The next couple of days, or maybe if you want to,
on when we go see June.
Yeah, or if you like when we do the puppy playdate on the Spit. Oh, that's probably a bit of a ways away though, because how far off is your lovely little pup from getting her final? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's early April is when the Spit will be happening.
Yeah,
we can organise our private social engagements after.
No, I think now is.
But as I've said, anyone who wants to come out and hang out and see the new place, it is now all set up. We've got all our stuff set up. However, we don't have internet there as well. This is the other reason why I'm not streaming out of there. We don't have internet because the people who sold it to us took the NBN box with them, the thing you're supposed to leave behind. They ripped it out of the fucking wall. It's just gone, which I think is it's incredible. Thank you for that. So
after you gave them the extra couple of weeks there, then they just
I know they did me dirty. And the other thing they did was as well that they left the alarm online, so I inevitably activated the house alarm trying to move stuff into, which is awesome. So yeah, I mean, look, partly my fault. I'm an idiot, but yeah.
I'm gonna say home alarms have been triggered probably close to 100% by the occupant of the house as opposed to any kind of intruder.
This one's a pretty funny one though. So I didn't know that this was an alarm box. Because I couldn't find the NBN box, I thought, oh, maybe this grey box in the wall connected to the phone line, maybe that's the NBN box, and they've just got it in like its own little thing. And so I tried to open this thing and it had 2 screws in it. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll undo the screws and see what's inside. There's a tamper alarm, and it's a home alarm system, and when you undo those 2 screws, it permanently sets off the alarm, and you can't disable it without unplugging it from the power, turning off the power to the entire home, unplugging the UPS, the uninterrupted power supply battery, and hitting it. That's the only way to shut it down. So
and hitting it.
That was a very vital part. That wasn't just me letting out some pent up stress and aggression in a single moment. I was very proud of myself for really like maintaining poise and decorum and not just losing my shit, being like trying to shut it off. Very loud home alarm system standing right in front of them when they're going off. Pretty loud.
But like that's the idea.
I guess so.
That's the goal. The goal achieved.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my fun story about how much of an idiot I am in my spare time. I was tired. It was like 33 degrees. I was carrying stuff in and out all day, and I just had my brain just shut down. It was too hot. I overheated. My CPU fan cut out, and there was nothing left to give, essentially. That's the only fun news I have to share. We have some sad news tonight. Jared is not joining us. Those of you who are watching on Twitch or on YouTube will have seen his face grayed out. What is with these head? What? Why do you keep doffing a hat you're not wearing, Jacob?
Sorry that you don't respect our fallen brother.
He's not dead. He's just not making it tonight. He's fine.
Did he fall down? Yes or no?
No.
Can you confirm he didn't fall down?
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Well, I mean, I kind of can. I just spoke with him.
Make him confirm. Can't do it. Moving on.
So Jared's not joining us tonight, so I will be playing the character of Luther. Maybe he fell down, I guess. He is healthy. He's not missing tonight because he's sick, injured, or otherwise. He's just, there's something else on and he can't quite make it. He may be jumping on.
About it if he was.
Yeah, exactly. You'd feel really bad if I followed this up with, he had a really bad fall, actually.
I would love it. That'd be great.
So unfortunately, I will be playing Luther again. I think for now the third time in a row. So if I go back to giving Luther an American accent, too bad it's canon. That's what he sounds like now because there's no one here to correct me. So that's what he sounds like. That is it for fun news. Let us jump into the session. I know you've all been waiting with bated breath. I will not hold off on revealing the fate of Grinner any longer than I can feel like it's funny to do so. So, let me do our quick recap and we will jump straight back into the session. Previously, our series has been following the adventures of the Tempest Adventuring Guild. Theo, Luther, Jonor, Grinner, Tithla, and newcomer Killian, an adventurer from a distant land. Having become trapped within the realm of Barovia while searching for some missing adventurers, the team have been travelling west in search of an escape. With Tithla's burns still requiring medical attention and Killian suffering from a vampire bite, the team decided to head to the Abbey at Kresk for healing, travelling in the company of Nikolai and Stella Wachter. After being greeted at the gate by two mongrel folk, Otto and Siegfried, the group were met by the Abbot, a tall, bald man with slightly alien-looking features. Agreeing to help Tithla, Killian and Stella, the Abbot demonstrated his considerable skill with regenerative magic, completely restoring Tithla's burned skin. Grinner, in particular, was rather impressed with the magic on display and attempted to recruit the Abbot against Strahd and the other dark power active in Barovia, offering his own body in trade, specifically allowing the Abbot to swap his damaged liver for a fresh one from a werewolf. Unfortunately, the success the Abbot had with helping Tithla wasn't repeated with Grinner. As the transmutation magic began to spiral into chaos, the party could only watch on in horror, as Grinner's teeth began to elongate, his eyes turning yellow. Quick intervention from Luther and Jonor helped to prevent the transformation from progressing any further. While all of this was going on, Killian and Tithla had a visitor, a strange pale elf named Calithard, who was convinced that Tithla was in fact a long-lost companion of his, Tanya. Despite some confusion, the situation was eventually teased out, Calithard making his way into the Abbot's study in the hopes of locating him. Theo was able to learn that Calithard and Rictavio had come to Barovia together some time in the past, and after a little back and forth, revealed where Calithard could start his search. Meanwhile, Killian attempted to beseech Kelenvor for assistance, only to find another voice offering him all he could want, in exchange for the blood of a spellcaster. Jonor and the Abbot, while this was going on, headed up the small spiral wood staircase to the floor above. Gentle, soft music filled the air, a raven-haired woman covered in scars playing an ornate golden harp, with a striking resemblance to Irina. Jonor, understandably, had some questions about this, and revealed to the Abbot he knew the real Irina and that she was back in Vallaki. The Abbot immediately took off, claiming Irina was the bargaining chip he needed to escape these lands, offering to take the party with him if they assisted. It was decided that the Abbot shouldn't be going alone to collect Irina though, so Theo accompanied him in roach form, their journey briefly interrupted by an airborne attack. Arriving in the town at the dead of night, Theo and the Abbot barged into the Burgomaster's manor, startling Ismark. Sensing something was wrong, Theo rushed up the stairs to find a ghostly form trying to beckon Irina to the window. Realizing the situation might be more dire than first thought, Theo decided to spend some time learning about Irina's history before attempting to flee with Irina back to the Abbey, a course of action they decided could wait until the morning. Meanwhile, Grinner, Tithla, and Jonor dealt with the fallout of the partial werewolf transformation, Tithla utilising her immense knowledge of medical science to look through the abbot's library in the hopes of finding some way to reverse the change that she couldn't think of. Luckily, the combined search did indeed bear fruit, identifying a potential cure in the form of a potion, many of the required ingredients on hand in the abbot's alchemy bench. Deciding to test the concoction herself before administering it to Grinner, Tithla had a little sip, resulting in a sudden temporary paralysis. Who would have thought a werewolf transformation reversal potion might have unintended consequences on someone who's not a werewolf? While all of this was going on, Grinner sought some solitude at the peak of the mountain, snow gently falling all around. Calling out into the night, Grinner beseeched Strahd to attend to him. And Strahd answered, a portal opening in the air. After a rather tense discussion in which Grinner revealed his changes at the hand of the abbot, his home realm, Nostea, and then attempted to empathise with Strahd in the hopes of trying to connect with his humanity, Grinner let slip about the tapestries he had observed in the Durst Manor, the tapestries depicting what now he has figured out is the history of Strahd, Sergei, and their beloved. We left off last session with Strahd holding Grinner by the throat, and we are obviously going to jump straight back in. Grinner, as Strahd grabs you and lifts you up into the air, this tight, vice-like grip, cold hands, talons pressing into the sides of your neck, cutting through the top layers of your skin. You watch as his dark eyes turn toward you, this sort of almost like crimson red, but shadowed of the irises beginning to grow almost brighter, the red shining through as he stares at you. Oh dear, I fear the cold has tightened your throats, and I have so many more questions for you. What say you we take this conversation somewhere more private? And then I think he released the grip a little bit so you could answer, and that is where we left off last session. And your answer was?
All right.
Yeah, that about sums it up. As Strahd gently releases a little bit of that tension around your neck, the nails no longer cutting through your skin, but the pressure still holding you there. Where you were standing on the top of this mountain range, not standing on the very peak of the mountain, more a little plateau, almost like a hollowed out section near to the peak itself. As Strahd slowly begins to rise up into the air, holding you by the neck, you can see the ground underneath you begin to fall away, Grinner. The densely packed snow almost making it very hard to distinguish what is underneath you. As the snowfall begins to increase in frequency above, all sound is blotted out around you. There's this eerie silence apart from the whistling of the wind. And as the snow presses in, it's hard to know how high up you are and how far away you now hover from the ground. As Strahd very gently begins to release that grip ever so slightly, he turns his head towards you. So, these tapestries that you saw, you will be telling me all about them. Everything that you know, everything you suspect. Or this will be a very short conversation that we will not be repeating.
I don't know much about him, mate. I'm gonna grab hold of his wrist so that I'm not just hanging by my head because Grinner's done that before and he doesn't like it.
That's a good call. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. Currently you are being lifted off the ground, and the pressure's on your chin and the upper side of your throat. It is painful. You're not a light man. You are muscular, you are strong. You've been carrying around improvised weapons, some sort of anvil or table leg and things like that strapped to your back. Not actually an anvil, but you're not a light man. I think you described yourself as 6'2" or something. You're pretty tall as well. Yeah, there's a lot of muscle here, and currently all of it is being pressed against the underside of your chin. As he sees you grabbing onto his arm, he doesn't make any move to stop you, but you do watch as a little smirk crosses his lips as he sees you fearing for your life.
I don't know all that much about him, mate, but yeah, alright, I'll give you a fucking rundown.
No, you will answer questions put to you, and promptly. Where did you see them?
In that manor place.
What manor place? You have used this description before. Be more specific. Where? In my realm? Here?
Well, bits of it are.
You watch as this, again, that look of confusion. And then suddenly his eyes go wide. Where you landed, there were fragments of a building that we did not recognize. You brought bits of it through with you, or it brought you with it, these pieces. So this is from your realm, Nostea, the sealed realm. Interesting. And tell me, these tapestries, were they old? Did they look fresh to you?
I don't fucking know, mate. I'm good at hitting shit, not judging age on stuff.
Let me ask a simpler question. Who else knows about them? And what they display?
Well, there was that Sheila who, she was like some fucking witch or something. She came through too, but she got skewered. I don't think she's around no more.
What witch?
Well, she opened the fucking portal, mate.
So it was not you and your friends, your companions who brought yourselves here, it was her magic?
Yeah, we were trying to stop the fucking thing.
This witch, are we talking about a spellcaster? Are we talking about some hag, some fey creature? Or are we talking about something else? What was this being?
Well, I don't know. She'd been around for a long time. Fuck, can we have this conversation somewhere a little bit better?
Would that be more comfortable for you?
Well, it's nice to not dangle.
I'm sure it is. But see, this way, I have the utmost confidence that you will choose to answer my questions honestly.
Yeah, right, but it's very fucking hard to think.
Yes, I am sure it is. Work harder at it.
Well, fuck. All right, that thing that I flicked to you last time we met, when you got all handsy, that was from there.
It's from the same manor.
Yeah, she was using it for, fuck, I don't know, something to do with, I didn't understand it. I think giants were involved, but none of it made no fucking sense to me.
I do not care about what giants want. They are not welcome in my realm, nor will they ever be. It's this woman. Tell me more about her, her appearance. Did she give a name?
I don't remember.
Do you want to roll a history check? See if Grinner does.
Alright. Because Raph sure doesn't.
Madam Durst.
I'm going to say probably then if Raph doesn't remember. I mean, roll a history check. Let's see what it says. We'll let the dice decide.
One, so.
Let's let the dice decide. I'm a big fan of letting the dice decide in situations like this.
Okay.
15. Like 15's not that bad. As you think back, you're not 100% sure of the name. I mean, you do remember the name Durst Manor. You remember the family, the Durst family. You remember someone else might know more. The two children, Rose and Thorn, they were children of the Durst parents, the Durst lords. With a 15, yeah, I mean, Durst as the last name you're pretty confident on. And you remember the woman, you don't think she was a witch. You think she was a bit like her children. You think she might have been more like a ghost or a spectre. You remember her being partially transparent, able to fly. I mean, witches can also fly, you're pretty sure. Grinner would be like, yeah, witches fly, right? But she had no broom, so... hard to say. But yeah, I mean, you also get, like, there's this vague memory that she was somehow related to Rose and Thorn. They might know more.
Can I roll for...
Tithla also wants you to know that she would know more too if you hadn't abandoned her and done this by yourself.
I need to know or try to get some sort of inkling about Strahd's intentions here. Like, is by me divulging this information going to from my limited knowledge, jeopardize either the party's safety or Rose Hawthorne's safety? Because
that's a good question. I'm going to get you to roll me an insight check.
Yeah, I can do that.
Fred Durst is a witch confirmed. It was the best of times. It was the Durst of times. Oh, chat, never change. 11, Grinner. Oh, Strahd is a hard man to read. He is a man who has got a very tight lid on his emotions most of the time. You've seen flashes where that mask has fallen away and where the true Strahd has shone through. And that Strahd is an angry man, full of resentment, full of anger, and full of, I would say, almost like a hatred, a self-loathing of what he is and what he's become. But at the moment, that mask is perfectly in place. He is 100% in control. In fact, you're pretty confident the show of anger he kind of did a little bit before, that was an act. That was to put you off balance, to put you in a state of fear. And when that didn't work, Strahd escalated and has now lifted you up over the landscape below. It's threatened you with death as a way of kind of keeping you in line. But you don't get the sense, he genuinely doesn't care about whether or not you live through this or not. What he wants is the information. What he wants that information for, hard to say at this point. Is there a direct and obvious threat to your friends? You're not sure. You know that the Abbey seems to be safe ground, and most of your friends are in the Abbey at the moment. So, hard to say, unfortunately.
Don't you get fucking bored of this?
Not when I get to learn such new interesting things. Just when I thought that there would be an endless supply of people from all the same realms, you lot come through. Ostea, 'tis a place that we have not had visitors from in a long, long time. That is interesting.
It'd be a fucking pity to drop one of your new visitors.
I am sure there will be more. If it is opened once, the way must be passable once again. I wonder, maybe I should see if any of my spawn are free to go and explore, maybe travel through.
No, it's all closed, mate. The door's shut behind us. You don't.
Oh, I am sure this is an area in which you are very knowledgeable.
Yeah, I reckon.
Well, tell me more about this woman. No more dodging the question. This witch you describe.
Yeah, I don't fucking know, mate. She was doing some shit, and it was all spooky, and the house was full of stuff that wasn't really there, or it was, but it wasn't what it's supposed to be. And
you do not learn nothing from this. You get no name, no idea of what she even looks like. You're telling me you are this blind, this stupid.
Well, no. Yes and no. It was. Oh, fuck, can you put me down?
No, not until you answer the questions, and even then, I will take it under consideration. You have been disrespectful for far too long. You need to learn your place, worm.
Well, maybe, but surely there's better ways to do that than just by dropping me.
Go on then. Entertain me. How should I extract information from you, Grinner?
Well, I've been tortured before. It's not very fun. But,
You've never been tortured by me before.
No, probably not. I think I'd remember that.
You would, but not for very long.
Alright, tell you what. You take me back home to wherever you live, the big fucking castle place, and I'll give you the name of that witchy lady.
You want to come to Castle Ravenloft?
Well, fuck, I don't want to be dropped here.
I asked you how best I could extract information from you, and you have answered. Very well. The dungeons of Ravenloft.
Well, shit, that's not quite what I meant.
That's what you said.
I didn't say nothing about dungeons. I thought we were having dinner with you in a couple nights.
Ah, I'm sure that we could get you up from the dungeons for a brief snack.
I think I'm out of my depth here, mate.
Yes, I am pleased that you are finally realizing that. You have been out of your depth for some time. It is entertaining to me how stupid, how short-sighted you have been with this. Did you really not know who you were dealing with? Come, let me show you something. And with that, you watch as Strahd turns and waves his hand around in the air as he mutters a few brief words under his breath. Unfortunately, Grinner, with no magical training or spellcasting knowledge, it just sounds like gibberish, really. As the air begins to warp and twist, you watch as the snow spins around in a circle, pulling open this almost shimmering incandescent mirror-like gap, this tear in the air itself. And as Strahd flies through, you feel this lurching in your stomach, not too dissimilar from the feeling you had when you first, traveled to the realm of Barovia. That feeling of the pit of your stomach dropping away, almost free-falling for a moment, that feeling of being stretched. And then suddenly, the air is much warmer, much heavier. You can breathe in. You hadn't quite realized how thin the air actually was at the very top section of where the Abbey is. This is a pretty high mountain where you were before. It was a bit thinner. But now suddenly, as you take in a deep lungful, the air is humid, almost. There's a moisture to it. It's still crisp and cool, but nowhere near the cold of the mountain. Below you, you can see a tiny village, flickering lights below lighting up the windows and the streets. But in front of you, standing proud, looming over the village, is an enormous castle. The hill that it resides upon, the mountains are dropping away into a sheer drop-off as the shadow it casts, the moon high above casting this long shadow over the village. You recognize this castle. When you first entered the village of Barovia and saw the castle high above, this is that castle. Suddenly you feel this sickening lurch as Strahd just drops, still holding on to you, still keeping you steady, but no longer flying. For a brief moment, you plummet, hitting terminal velocity in span of brief seconds before suddenly slowing and coming to a gentle stop at the foot of the large hill, the cobblestone pathway leading up, winding across this hill up towards Castle Ravenloft. It's dark. The moon above, not full, casting a pale light over the land itself. And walking along the road, you can see figures. Hundreds of them. Ghostly, pale, illuminated in the moonlight. But not just the moonlight. Transparent, lit by this soft inner glow, these figures are all ghosts. A long procession of them, walking along this cobblestone pathway. Some in groups, some individually, all of them just walking up towards the hill and the doors at Castle Ravenloft. Strahd turns towards you, smiles, and then looks down and goes, "What do you think of my guests? We have had so many over the eons."
Fuck, I feel sorry for you, mate. Only time anyone wants to be around you is when you kill them and force them.
I did not kill all these people. In fact, I can say that my hands are clean for the vast majority of them. I can think of only a handful I myself had to intervene with.
Pity it's the only way you can get guests, though, isn't it?
It's a pity none of the guests were worthy. All of them failed, tainted by the darkness of this place, fell to the dangers or fell to their own corruption. And look at all of them. This procession. This happens every night. All those who have fallen here. And it runs all night. Do you know how many people that is? How many years this has been going on? Try for me. Try to expand your tiny limited perspective here. Think what it is to live this long.
I don't know why you're trying to get sympathy from me, mate.
I care not for your sympathy. Are you kidding me?
Sound like it.
I'm trying to get you.
About?
I'm trying to get you some perspective. You said you were out of your depth. You want to see just how out of your depth you are. People stronger than you. People wiser than you. People more cunning. People faster. Every single person who has come through here. None of them have achieved anything but shown their true colors, their true weakness.
What
All
weakness,
of them.
mate?
The weakness that runs in every mortal.
The weakness to strive. The weakness to try and stop this shit.
No.
Stop you.
They didn't. Oh, sure, at first that's what they planned, that's what they said. But all of them fell to the darkness. There's a corruption here. A dark, beating heart of poison.
Yeah, it's holding me up.
You think I am the source of this corruption? No. I do not want to see chaos. I do not want this place to be lost, lawless, and broken. I am looking for order. I am looking for peace. True peace. This is the only way to achieve it. This is not my doing. All of these people, they were corrupted by another. A dark stain, a blot upon my lands. Someone who should have been wiped out long ago, but has clung to this disgusting unlife. Cursed just as much as I, yet he chose this, while I did not.
Well, I've got thoughts on that, but I'd rather not speak them when I'm dangling still.
He lets go. Grinner. I mean, I gave you. I had a marker every time you asked to be let go. I had a little marker just to see, and that was the one. Could you please roll me 4d6?
That's Grinner. That's nothing.
Yeah, he's all right. He's all good.
Depends on what you roll.
4, did you say?
4d6, please. You're not very high up. Oh, mate. Roll 20s on your side tonight. Only 11 points of damage. Are you kidding me? You take 11 points of bludgeoning damage as Strahd drops you from 40 feet.
As I splap.
That would have killed Killian completely. I know.
That would kill Killian. That would nearly kill me.
I know. That would be it. Yeah. Isn't that crazy though? Like, just because you're max hit points, and you actually still haven't been healed by the. Oh my god! By the
like an hour. Okay.
habit. That's too long for someone we care about. Sorry. Hashtag justice for Tithla. I'm sorry. I will sign that petition. That was too far. Yeah, Grinner, as you splat.
As I kind of splap into the ground. And...
I'm gonna quickly reveal why this wasn't as bad. As he drops you, you'd been slowly drifting over the procession, over the road, and as you fall, even though these are ghosts, something about your connection to Rose and Thorn, your path of the ancestral guardians, something about this makes them much more substantial for you than anyone else. And in fact, as you fall towards them, you watch as the ghosts of these adventurers, these heroes, these mercenaries, the group that you're about to fall onto, you watch as a large dragonborn, probably once with red scales, a very slight sort of reddish hue. He actually reaches up to help catch you and lower you down, stopping you taking the full damage. It's slight resistance, but it's enough. And as you feel this connection, what was that? Sorry, Theo?
Crushed a poor ghost.
Well, but I mean, you pass through him, but as he grabs on and lowers you, and next to him you see a dark elf with this long green cloak, fur collar, like helps to grab onto your legs and steady, and actually turn you slightly as you fall so that you'd land onto your legs rather than just onto your face. And as they slow your fall and you look up at them, you see this look of pity and sadness cross their eyes before they turn their attention back towards the castle and begin walking. The Dragonborn, half of his chest is just open. You can see inside. His heart is missing. The ribs bare of this ghost. And for the Dark Elf, the Drow, he doesn't have any legs. He's been cut in half. He's just hovering above the ground.
Well, Cheers, you lot. I don't have time to unpack that. Grinner's going to start running like as fast as he fucking can away from the castle.
Towards the village, towards the forest. So let me just paint a picture in your mind so Grinner, you know where you are. You're on the main road. This road is actually, you took the Svarlich road to get away from the town of Barovia towards Vallaki. If you head north east of here and you run for 2 days, you get to Vallaki. If you continue south, you're going to get back to Barovia. If you go east, you're going to head to the castle. If you go just straight west, you're going to be heading into the forest, the Svarlich woods.
Straight west.
Flip a coin.
Straight to the woods. As you begin, as you begin running. So action dash, 60 feet. You sprint towards the woods.
Well, I know I've got 40 foot, so 80.
80 feet. As you sprint 80 feet. Strahd with a flying speed of 120 flies up behind you, grabs you by the scruff of your neck. Actually, I will be fair. I will roll this as a grapple. Okay. Does a 24 hit you?
Yep.
Strahd grabs you by the scruff of your neck and lifts you up into the air with your legs still like running in place underneath you. And we're going to pause there for a second. And we're going to come back to that fucking disaster in a moment.
You're not able to do a dash.
You made it worse somehow.
What was that? Sorry, Jacob?
You're not able to do a dash as a bonus or any of
He
that sort of
He didn't
bullshit?
take a sexy monk or rogue dip, unfortunately. He's gone pure barb.
Has that unfortunately confirmed what happened to some of the party members that they had come to find? Particularly the Red Dragonborn that
Killian
had met?
I think so.
Unfortunately, Grinner's the only one who knows.
And you're probably the least likely to remember that we're ever here looking for them.
Killian. And actually, let's go back to I think we need something light and something a bit more fun to break up what we've just seen. Tithla, Jonor, and Killian. Tithla. The paralysis that had seeped in is slowly starting to wear off. You begin to feel this tingling, uncomfortable pins and needles begin to push in across your entire body. Even your tongue has these awful pins and needle sensation, this like numb, almost like buzzing feeling. It is unpleasant, it is uncomfortable, but it does taste slightly of plum. Killian and Jonor, you haven't seen Grinner in a bit. The last time, because that you were making this potion to cure him. I mean, now that you've helped Tithla into the bed and she's slowly starting to recover, you can see Nikolai is sitting on the bed next to his sister, stroking her hair. Occasionally, she's sort of like fitfully turning in her sleep. Whatever draft the abbot gave her to keep her asleep does seem to be starting to wear off.
Well, at this point, Jonor would have been sitting by Tithla's bed as she's doing the drool and just having to shuffle the pillow, flip it around so the wet side's now down. Just making
so
sure
it soaks into the mattress. You're a
there.
monster.
I could grab another one, but
that's it. I need you to change your alignment to chaotic evil. Please do it. That's proven it for me. No.
Seeing that Tithla has sort of settled down, Killian, looking at her, you reckon she's fine? She can just sort of hold on here, you reckon?
I was planning on staying in bed anyway, but yes, I can keep an eye on her.
Yeah, well, seems like you have the ability to yell out, so just yell for her if she wants to yell, I'll leave that to you to interpret that.
Is she fully paralyzed?
Her eyes and eyelids are working.
Oh yeah, okay.
You don't have to blink for her. I'm not that mean.
You might want
I
to
grab one of her hands. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, you might want to turn her on her side and lift her head slightly so she doesn't swallow her own tongue.
Oh god, the noises.
Like
Why can you do that noise so well?
Eyes pop open, seeing the little choke on, grabs the body, turns on the side, and finger goes in the mouth. Like, oh, stop gumming my finger, Tithla, and then just reefs it on back out. Oh, so gross. So gross.
Tithla, I've got a quick question. This hasn't been established as canon on Nostea. I know in some settings goblins have like slightly longer tongues.
Mm-hmm.
Does Tithla have a slightly longer, like, lizard-like tongue? Or is it like a normal human elf kind of tongue?
I imagine
Yeah.
that
Tell me what you
goblin
imagine.
tongue is partially, like, is naturally longer, yes.
Yeah, I wondered.
But she's grown up with humans and then on human food, so potentially that stunted her tongue growth somewhat. So potentially it's in the middle there. So it's a little bit longer than like your normal human, but not quite your average goblin.
Thank you for that. That's a very, very insightful and scientifically grounded explanation of the length of Tithla's tongue. I salute you, sir. That is perfect. I love a good science-grounded description and justification. I'm always going to reward that. Tithla, something about that, the time you've spent amongst humans, the diet that you've eaten, your body does seem to be slightly more resistant. I'm going to say maybe because of your druidic training and because this wouldn't be the first time Tithla's just tried random shit to see what it does. I think we've well established now that there's a pattern of behavior for Tithla to taste things. Your body has become slightly more resistant to this effect than the normal.
Quick question for the group. What are the odds that Owen's just sick of me making noises, so he's rushing up the recovery from the poison?
Pretty high.
I demand you roll an insight check, and I'll have you know that I roll infinity on all dice rolls. So, sorry. No, that's fair. That's part of it. I also want to reward science-based justifications. I'm hoping that this will help encourage some of the other players who do things that I cannot possibly understand. Raph. No, I'm mostly joking. I love me some science.
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
well, Tithla, as you're just sort of settling in there, I think you're sort of okay for the time being. Luther, we're just gonna chuck that. Yes, Tithla.
Plum.
No, oh, Mum, Plum.
Plum.
Do you want your mum?
No.
Luther says
Well,
in
yes, but Mum.
Luther sort of looks.
Oh.
Seeing how that potion just paralyzed her straight up after trying it, what would you guys do with the rest of that? Like, do you assume that it's actually
Grinner!
Well, they then read the next line in the recipe where it said leave it for an hour.
Yeah,
What happened?
it's literally the next line. It's just that Tithla didn't turn the page.
Nah, that's readings for nerds.
And people who don't want to be paralyzed.
Okay, well, Luther.
Yeah.
Luther,
Sorry, Jonor.
Just let this one. We can just appreciate the line in the book here. We'll let it settle. I think for was it 1 hour or 5 hours. We'll just rest it nice and soft, like just on the table here. Just let it. Actually, no, away from Tithla, away from her. We're putting it back in the
study.
Hitler's arm
Maybe.
is reaching for it again.
Yeah.
I'll take this back to the study if you want. Should we let Grinner know that we might have a possible solution for his werewolf problem?
Yeah, absolutely. We just hold on to 5 hours, and we'll be good to go.
What?
I then stand and have a look around.
Sit tight, do anything. 5 hours, and all the problems will be solved.
I'm sure there's nothing. I'm sure 5 hours will pass easily, and nothing will go wrong.
I mean, how much trouble could Grinner get into on his own at an abbey at the top of a mountain? How much trouble could he get into?
Or Theodore flying away on
I'm more worried about Theo. No, don't get me wrong. I'm more worried about Theo.
Yeah.
And Irina.
We're in a struggling time, I think. Let's put this drink away.
He didn't go back to the basement, did he? You know, there was some stuff in the basement. You don't think he went down there to, I don't know, like get another body part that he wanted, another organ or something? He's not down there trying to steal some kidneys from some hag or something.
Oh, well, I think he was rattled enough just to. I don't think he wants to put more things in. So
I don't know. It doesn't seem entirely out of character for Grinner to do some stuff. And he's not drinking alcohol at the moment or smoking. I'm worried that he doesn't have an outlet.
Yes. Bubbles out in different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely worried about that.
All right. Well, where would Grinner go? So the dirt on his boots. Do we see? I have a look for the tracks that he probably leaves around with his scruffy boots. Can we see where he's gone?
Grinner, yeah, good. Grinner actually has nice military-style boots. Just a bit old, but they are well cared for. Grinner, first rule of being a soldier: take care of your boots, they'll take care of you. Everyone knows that. But how clean would you keep them is the question.
They'd be pretty clean, however, they are hobnails, so whether or not there's scratch marks...
Scratches. Yeah, definitely. Jonor, could you make me a survival check, please?
Absolutely.
Or investigation. Survival or investigation, your choice.
That'll be a 3.
That's a 3. Jonor, there's a lot of tracks. There's some mud. There's some scratches. Oh, man. No big footprints. There's no, like, lines on the wall. You haven't got a chart to compare for what Grinner's shoe size looks like. Oh, this is pretty complicated stuff. You don't know how Tithla does this, actually. This is pretty hard. Tracking.
God damn it, Tithla, this is when I need you the most. Okay, well, he was just here, then I went inside and went to the medicine room.
Put your foot next to it. Pretend the size of your foot. Compare the pair.
Sounds like some like off-brand philosophical prophecy muttered by some like malnourished soothsayer as they cross the threshold. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going for.
Nailed it. Compare the pair. And then like 6 books later, the author has to somehow like make that make sense, but they've lost the plot by that point. It's just literally a pear and an apple. It's like, how do these compare? I don't understand.
Okay, well, I'm just going to get in the mind of Grinner. I stand where he was sitting when I last saw him, which was prior to the medicine creation. And I look around. So there's going to be the entrances, I imagine, out the front of the Abbey, the stairwell up, stairwell down. What else could I see?
I mean, apart from the study behind you, they're the main areas. You know that if you head back through the door right in front of you, because at the moment you're in the medical wing, you're in the hospital wing. If you head through that door, you'll get into the entranceway. There's stairs leading up, stairs leading down, and then the door back out into the courtyard of the Abbey. There's really nowhere else.
I should definitely say that when I left, I said that I was going for a walk.
You did, yes.
So,
and the Wachters are there as well. So.
Yeah. Nikolai can jump in at that point. I know you've been... Oh, you're worried about your friend. I think I heard him say that he was going for a walk or something. And I've heard...
Oh, okay.
I've heard like footsteps coming from upstairs. Just thought you ought to know.
Yeah, okay, sure. From upstairs. All right, well, we'll start our search there then. You mean like in the building or like on the building?
Yes, in the building.
In the building. Okay, sure, no worries. Well, I'm going upstairs. He clearly wouldn't have been. Oh, wait, maybe the Abbot's room. That's upstairs. I go to the Abbot's room.
Jonor, you would remember that you went upstairs with the Abbot. That's where you saw the arena lookalike.
Yeah.
Maybe Nikolai just heard your footsteps. But I mean, it's probably worth having a look. And you're the only one so far who knows about this lookalike up here. I mean, you mentioned it briefly to the rest of the group, but you haven't really gone into much detail about it. You just mentioned that there was someone who looks like Irina, and then it was all about the Abbot needs to take a cockroach to Vallaki. That's the Spark Notes equivalent of what happened. Yeah.
Look, that's the best information he's got to go with the survival of 3. He's going to go to the harp. Go upstairs there.
Luther, who sees you, sort of like looks and goes, Nikolai, could you keep an eye on our green friends here? Killian, just wondering if we're going to be going for a bit of an explore. You've got sharp eyes. Do you want to come with us? Might be good to have your perspective, and I don't think we're going to be in much danger here. Seems like this place is fairly safe.
Eyes, ever seeing eyes.
I'll carry Tithla if it means that she can help us with tracking and things. I'll admit it's not my forte either. Tithla, can I like give you a piggyback? Maybe all 4 of us can go and check this out.
Tithla puts her hands up to quiet everyone.
Quiet. Shh. Shh.
No one's speaking, Tithla.
The voices.
And she attempts to put a leg out onto the floor to see if her leg works.
Could you roll me a Constitution saving throw, please?
I would love to.
Watch this be a natural fucking 20 and Tithla's fine. or a natural 1, and Tithla's not fine.
It's
It's a natural 1!
She pushes herself out, up onto her legs, and it holds there for a sec, but really it's pendulum, and then she falls flat.
Yeah, there's a moment of celebration, whereas you stand up there looking perfect, you like slowly raise your hands, you go, I did it! And Luther's like, well done! And then you just go straight down as they collapse. Luther goes to catch you, like grabs the front of your your robes, the front of your cloak, and your head continues and goes conk right onto the stones. You are going to take 2 points of bludgeoning damage. That could have been a lot worse. 2 points of bludgeoning damage as Luther doesn't grab you well enough to prevent your head, because he doesn't grab your head, he just grabs the front of your shirt, and so your neck just goes as your head continues with the momentum. Oh, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Yeah, we're just gonna put you back in bed. I think the 3 of us will be plenty. I don't think I think we'll just 3 of us can go. Nikolai, keep looking on Tithla and oh, there's a bit of blood.
Are you there?
Jonor, can you flip the pillow again and we'll just hide the blood when it's
Flips it and then just does a 180 rotation.
Ah, nailed it.
The drill away.
Yeah, nice.
Thanks, Mum. Thank you.
You
little side tilt. On your side, Tithla.
A little bit of drool.
All right, get it up, Killian. I give my arm to reef him along.
Poor Killian.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to get like a crutch to help me walk.
Perfect. As Jonor, Killian, and Luther begin to head upstairs, Jonor, again, you hear the sound of that soft, beautiful harp playing this gentle melody. It seems different than the one you were hearing before. The one before seemed much more like a practice piece. It was scales, it was technical pieces. This is beautiful, flowing music. Clumsy at times. It's not perfect, but it is beautiful and true. And as it begins to flow, you feel this swelling of music around you. As you, Killian, and Luther get to the top of the stairs, you see this raven-haired woman, pale skin, back to you playing the harp once more. But rather than before, where she was sitting straight backed on this bench, just plucking away very, very technically, now she is moving with the music, swaying in time with it. But as she hears the sounds of your footfalls on the soft landing, on the wooden landing, she immediately stops, turns almost scared and frightened. And as you see her eyes wide open stare back at you, she freezes for a moment and then relaxes when she sees who it is. Oh, I am sorry. I thought you were... It does not matter. Was my playing disturbing you?
No, that was angelic, thank you. You just go back to what you were doing. That's actually, I like that more. You keep on doing that one.
No, I am supposed to be practicing. The abbot would be very cross if he caught me improvising music again. I am supposed to play it perfectly, and I am sorry. Please don't tell the abbot.
Okay, I won't mention it then. Have you been walking around? Has anyone else come through here?
Just yourself. Hello. As she looks at Killian and Luther, who have just come up the stairs behind you. We didn't meet before. I am Vasilka. Hello.
Hello. You have a striking resemblance to somebody that I met recently.
She does, Killian. As she turns to face you, though, you can see that there are crisscross scars all across her entire body. Sections where there's still stitching. And her skin tones, they're not exactly 100% consistent. Killian, could I get you to please roll me, same as you did for Jonor when he first walked up the stairs, could you please roll me a perception or investigation check, please?
Perception.
See what you can glean. 16. Pretty good. Definitely. Skin tones don't exactly match. In fact, as you look at her very closely, you can see that where the scars are positioned, it almost looks like they've been done deliberately to shape her face. The skin itself isn't 100% consistent. There are patches where it's not quite the same color. In fact, there's patches where there's very light, almost invisible hair follicles, and other places where it's a little bit darker and you can just start to make out the hair follicles. Some where there's a pattern of freckles, others where there's none. don't think... I mean, this looks like extensive surgery that's been done on this person. Extensive. Skin grafts, reconstructive surgeries. I guess like the closest you could think of, Killian, from the Forgotten Realms would be the tales of flesh sculptors. Which I think is like... trying to remember like my Forgotten Realms lore. I think flesh sculpting is kind of talked about a couple of times as like not a forbidden form, but like a very rare form of transmutation magic that I think it's from one of the older D&D modules. It's not really being talked about as much in 5th edition, but I think it was the Forgotten Realms where they had like a flesh sculptor elf who was like this like outcast. I'm trying to remember back. This is a long time ago. I'm remembering back to it.
Yeah,
so.
it's because that's nasty. That's why they probably haven't talked about it.
I'd say that's fair.
It's a bit like blood magic, yeah.
Yes, yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, given your exposure and knowledge of blood magic, it's not out of the realm that you would know a little bit about flesh sculpting.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I heard.
Oh, I just wanted to say fascinating.
Look like Irina.
She does.
She does look like Irina. Yeah, absolutely. But I think I heard the abbot say a flesh golem, so it's not the one we know.
Oh, yes, the abbot is my father and my creator. He made me.
Oh, that's lovely. And I judge her reaction to my saying of that.
She smiles and nods, revealing perfect pearly white teeth.
Yes.
Is it? Okay, well, there's been no one else coming through here, hey? You haven't seen a sort of rough-looking man walk past here, have you?
A rough-looking man? No, only yourself and the abbot.
Okay, no worries then. Jonor glances around the room for anything else, like interesting that would spark his interest. So, anything angelic or Aasimar of nature.
Yeah, could you please make me a perception or investigation check? While you're doing that, Vasilka nods as she turns towards you, Killian, and goes,
Your friend, this one mentioned that name before, Irina. I have not heard this name before. Is there someone like me out there?
There is somebody who has a striking resemblance to you, yes.
Oh, well, that is nice. Maybe I have a sister.
As she smiles, this broad smile.
It's very curious that you share the same features.
Jonor, 26. As you look around the room, more and more you begin to notice things out of place. This isn't just a music antechamber. You think this is also her chambers. There's a partition section off to the side where you can see a small bed has been made up. There's a nightstand with what looks like some makeups and creams on it. You can see there are clothes in the dresser. But there's also instructions written in a flowing hand next to each of them. And as you look around, you begin to see more and more of these instructions written on parchment, nailed or stapled or stuck to the walls, to the floors, to various locations. And as you spin around and look behind you, you can see a table and chair has been set up, almost like a dining table. And again, bowls and plates and cutlery have been laid out, all of them labelled with diagrams and instructions everywhere. It's almost like a tiny cross-section of someone's life, all written out. A how-to guide with a real-world playpen to practice.
I go around. The closest instruction I would have seen, so walked up to maybe the table closest, and there's a, pull your seat back in as you sit down. Reading those instructions there.
Yeah. It's literally that level. It's like, this is a fork. The pointy end goes into the food. The thicker end is held in your hand. You must hold it in this hand. And it's like steps of what to do and how to do it, all written out. Some of them underlined, places where it's been crossed out, notations have been made, as if this has been an ongoing process.
Yeah, well, I, as Jonor, would be walking over to there to read that. I was going to be talking to the abbot about, I think, the celestial nature of things, and we'd cast some magic a little bit earlier, and he seemed very interested that I was an Aasimar. At that point, is there anything here that relates to anything celestial? There's all those instructions and stuff, but
unfortunately, Jonor, not in this room.
No. Okay.
As you look around the room, it looks like this is specifically designed for Vasilka. And I'm going to say with a 26, this is designed to teach Vasilka how to be a human.
Okay. Yep. Do you enjoy being in here, Vasilka?
I have learned a lot of things, and I like learning these things.
Oh, that's the right attitude, I would say. Well, Killian, I don't think we've got much going on here for our investigation. Look, I'll let you keep on practicing the harp. If you're happy enough to keep on strutting away, I'll leave you in peace.
I will go back to my exercises. I must be as good as Titania. Yes, I must be as good. Soon, I must be as good.
Yes, you can practice your keys. That's right. And I give a little wink as I say that.
She looks back at the harp, an instrument famous for not having keys, and nods, keys. Smiling back at you.
Yes.
Maybe we should check outside and see if we can pick up Grinner's tracks. Maybe gone down the mountain back towards Kresk.
Yeah, it's a start. Let's try there.
Perfect.
And then as we walk out and the door closes and we're out of earshot, did the abbot not say something about wanting to get Irina as some sort of bargaining chip before leaving with Theo?
Yeah.
It seems very odd that the lady in there looks the exact same as Irina and is being trained to be human. Maybe she was being trained to be a bargaining chip, and now that there is a real version out there.
It's kind of weird that there's going to be two of them now. Did I not fill you in earlier that there's... Yeah, no, I wouldn't have filled you in. Hey, that's news to you.
I
was a bit of a flurry before, so...
The acoustics in this place are crazy. I can hear everything in every room. It's really odd. It's like I've been watching the entire time.
Luther nods at this and goes, yeah, I agree, Killian. That is odd. That, I mean, and that name she said at the end, Titania. Do we know that name? I feel like I've heard that name before.
It's not a name I've heard.
Can't put my finger on it.
I don't think I was in the room when... Yep, Jonor doesn't know it.
When you were in the room when that name was mentioned?
Yeah, when that conversation with Theo and Tithla were had.
I think it was only Theo and Tithla who were there.
Yep.
Hey,
once
you guys
again,
split the
Tithla
party.
Knows what's going on.
Yeah, but instead of being there to help, she has drunk a potion of paralysis and is currently in bed trying to sleep it off. As the three of you head down, Luther sort of nods and goes, It's been a while since the abbot left with Theo. Just a bit worried about him. I hope he's okay.
We'll have a little bit of look out the direction they left, see if we can see anything. As we sort of check for tracks.
I think that's a good idea. Should we split up and maybe search some other areas? I don't think, Killian, I don't think you should go off by yourself. I'm genuinely concerned that at any moment you might die. No offense.
Yeah, I think a stiff breeze would kill me.
Yeah, so, I mean, scissors, paper, rock, Jonor? Do you and Killian want to check the outside courtyard and I'll have a look down at the back down at the gate where we first came in?
What is this scissor, paper, rock? You're not going to throw any of it at me.
Boulder, parchment, shears. Sorry. Boulder, parchment, shears.
Yes, I know what that. Yes,
you've played Boulder Park. Yeah, sorry, I never said this is Pepper Rock. I said Boulder Parkmanshires the whole time. It's the only way in the game we know. No, that's fine. I'll maybe I'll go talk to the
front.
Yeah, I'll talk to the mongrel folk, see if they've seen anything. How about that? See if I can find Otto. He was pretty friendly and, I guess, helpful.
Yeah, he'd be happy to tell us things, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him saying lots of words. He seems to talk a lot, but hopefully useful words. See what I can find out.
Yeah. Well, at this point, I would gesture with Killian. We would walk out towards the little courtyard.
Brilliant. Jonor and Killian, as you head off, Luther gives you a nod and then begins walking through the snow, walking briskly across the surface of the snow, leaving almost no indentations as he passes over the surface of the freshly fallen snow, while the two of you begin to trudge through the carpet of white crystals that are beginning to build up, covering the courtyard, and again that eerie silence in the midst of the snowfall, muffling sound all around you, giving the courtyard of the abbey and the monastery a very not uneasy feel, but a sense of quiet watchfulness. As the two of you make your way out into the courtyard, you can see footprints leading both in and out of the abbey doors. Because there is snowfall, it's much easier to see footprints. Jonor and Killian, could you both roll me a survival check with advantage, please?
With advantage, I will take that.
I like in chat, split the party real bad, like real bad. Yeah, we actually had an... 12 and 12. It's 12. That is a 12. It's funny, we had an episode of, I think, Tyranny of Dragons called Never Split the Party, which was an actual title of an actual episode of Tyranny of Dragons. We also had an episode in Tyranny of Dragons called United We Stand, and I realized that the episode name I had for the last session was Divided We Fall, which is a beautiful moment of symmetry, which I'm going to pretend was intentional the whole time, and not something I realized today when I was updating the wiki.
You are so clever.
Oh, so clever. Is that a natural 20 for Jonor?
It is. I know Grinner's boot. I thought about it before, and I'm like, yep, he's got this one. I've travelled with him. I've seen his boots when we...
Oh, fuck off. Did you compare the pair?
Compare the pair.
As Tithla's words float on an eldritch breeze from some lost dimension into your ears, you hear compare the pair, echoing throughout your memory with some bizarre flashback. Killian, as you look down, there's a number of boot prints that make it very hard to distinguish, including some footprints, mismatched footprints, ones that look like a hoof on a left foot and then like a weird paw-like claw on the right, which you quickly realize probably mongrel folk. Jonor, however, comparing the pair, sage words of wisdom spoken in a moment of lucidity, when the barriers between the cognitive realm and real world were broken down in Tithla's mind. As you look at your shoes and then look at the grounds, you're like, these ones are like mine, but bigger. Gotcha, Grinner. And it is sheer luck that you are correct as you begin following the boot prints. The footprints lead through the courtyard and out a side gate, which you previously hadn't explored, past the sheds where you had heard the mongrel folk talking before. Interestingly, the doors are now open and the sheds are empty. It looks like with the cold and with the sudden snowfall, they've been actually moved out of these sheds. The mongrel folk that were inhabiting them have been moved elsewhere. Not quite sure where at this stage. Well, I mean, they were being kept in sheds, so I guess. But as you begin to follow Grinner's footsteps, you can see they lead away, leading up the hill, up the side of the mountain, towards a outcropping of rock, a plateau-like structure, positioned right near the summit of the mountain. It looks like it's a decent walk. The snow is falling hard and fast around you. The crisp winter's chill causing you to sort of bundle your coats tighter and turn your collars against the wind.
As I head further along this track, I'm looking for any telltale signs. Normally there would be a half crunched up cigarette that's just been left on the ground, but all those are gone.
Grinner's out, yeah. As you follow the footprints, you get to this open plateau section, a hollowed out section of the mountain tip. And the footprints just stop. just end. There's a moment where they seem to move around, shuffling back and forth, a step back here, a step forward there, and then suddenly, nothing. With a natural 20 Jonor for a 21, it's almost like Grinner just vanished. Teleported, disappeared, disintegrated, flew off. It's almost like he just vanished. That's what you see. Mm-hmm. Tom?
I'm back.
He's back. Okay. There was a moment of pause where I was like, yeah, so Jonor, the footprints just end abruptly at this hollow rise. There's no sign of Grinner. In fact, it looks like Grinner has just vanished, just stepped into thin air and disappeared. The footprints stopping suddenly. And there's no other sign of him anywhere around. With a natural 20.
A bit of dread rolls as he looks down the side of the cliff.
Yeah.
Knowing that he had something traumatic just go on, he like sort of gets a little bit weak-kneed and then leans a little bit closer to the closest cliff.
As you peer over the edge. As you peer over the edge into the darkness below, you can see a form. Dark blue overcoat, collar turned up, collapsed, still at the bottom of a snowdrift at the very foot of this mountain shape. No, I'm kidding, it's not Grinner. There's nothing there as you look down over the edge. I was going to do a big fake out and be like, yeah, you see Grinner's corpse there. And everyone's like, well then who the hell has been with Strahd? It's his ghost! The last thing that happens is Strahd drops you in the procession and goes, yeah, welcome to the Black Parade, motherfucker. And then that's the end of the episode. No, Jonor, as you peer over the edge, there's no sign of anyone or anything in the snowdrift. You can't see any sign of snow trampled, and you're pretty confident there'd be more signs. Like the footprints stop in the middle of this hollowed out section. He would have had to have done a running leap from this point, leaving no footprints. Actually, not even a running leap, a standing leap, like 30 feet forwards to even get to the edge of this rise, to then be able to drop off enough to hit the ground. It's like, nah, not possible. Not without some magic or shenanigans involved.
Having a look around, so observing like the landscape, with a wider landscape here is either fog, and you mentioned there's maybe the stars overhead.
So the fog's actually started to burn away. The clouds have closed in and snow is falling faster and faster. In fact, the clouds are low enough here that they would be pressing all around you, except with the extreme cold, most of the lower layer of clouds have now fallen out into snow. It's now only the upper layers that are dropping snow on you. So it's actually, as opposed to when Grinner was up here about an hour ago, it's cleared quite a bit since then, as the intense chill has caused the lower clouds to precipitate out as snow almost immediately.
He's just going to have, looking around, get his best take of any sort of hints of magic going on here. He wants to detect if there's any ambiance of magic around. What does he feel? He's lent into his different magic learning arcana classes of just detecting, and he's gonna find.
Perfect. Could I get you to roll me an arcana check? While you're doing that, Killian, at your waist, it's clay or porcelain? Clay. Your clay jug that you use, your gourd that holds the blood that you use for your blood magic. There's a sudden momentary shake, almost like a vibration. As you look down at your waist, seems all fine and still. You think for a moment maybe you imagined it. And then again, a sudden little tremor. And you watch as the cork slowly begins to rise and then falls out. The blood beginning to bubble up through the opening of this gourd, bubbling over, reaching for you, beginning to move up, almost climbing across your body, up your hands. And as it does so, as it touches your skin, you hear in your mind, "The blood of a spellcaster, Killian. I can heal you. I can give you all you've ever needed. I just need that blood, Killian." Jonor, 24 on the Arcana. as you
Something's emanating behind me.
your attention is focused elsewhere. In fact, Jonor, as you look around, I'm actually going to say, not even focus elsewhere. As you turn around and look back, Killian seems to be looking down at his hands for some reason, not helping you look. I mean, the gourd's at his waist, cork's intact, there's nothing strange going on. Killian's just looking down at his hands, looking a bit pale. You think maybe his injuries, the blood loss, and the cold are probably not a good combination for Killian at this point, potentially. But Jonor, as you look out and begin focusing with your intense magical abilities, your scholarly pursuit of understanding the origins of magic and the origins of good and evil, as you look around, there's no signs of any currently active spells. However, the way that Grinner, as you look at the footprints and you kind of focus, if Grinner had cast some magic to teleport on the ground, or something had teleported on the ground, there should be some sign, some residual magical energy. There's none of that. But you do think there's part of your instinct that is saying to you, like, Occam's razor. Occam obviously being a very famous wizard from the 11th century who devised Bigby's Hand, the spell Bigby's Hand. He was the first person to... Bigby actually stole the design of the spell from him, called it Bigby's Hand. It was actually originally Occam's. Yeah. No, it was originally called Occam's Hand. And he famously said the simplest slap is the easiest slap, before the hand spell was then stolen from him. But it's one of the tenets of magic, is that the simplest solution is often the correct solution. If you're struggling too hard to understand a spell, struggling too hard to understand how a situation might have evolved, look for the simplest solution. And the simplest solution, someone either picked Grinner up and flew him off from here, or he was teleported in the air, not on the ground. Killian. Killian. As you look, you can see this dark blood covering your hand, moving up your arm. And as you watch, you can see, like, the damage your hand had sustained in the attack by Strahd. The grey veins begin to heal as this blood flows over you. And then as it begins to recede again, the wounds come back and you feel this painful ache. It's just there, Killian. Just a bit of blood. You can do it.
Push him off.
Okay, Killian, as you reach forward and shove Jonor...
No, I'm not going to.
Jonor, I need you to make me a dexterity saving... No. I'm kidding.
No. I would like to try and resist stabbing him, though, because I reckon the blood has probably formed... Because obviously I don't have a left hand, so I reckon it's probably formed the left hand, and we'll try thrusting at him that, like, out of his control.
Yeah. I get you to roll me. I guess you can decide whether or not you think this is a charisma saving throw for the force of your personality, or a wisdom saving throw, the force of your feelings of, like, good and what is correct, like your sense of companionship.
I think it's will.
Yeah.
So wisdom.
Force of personality, just like... Oh, no. Oh, yeah. So it's the if it's wisdom saving... Did you say wisdom?
Wisdom, yeah. I'd say wisdom.
Yeah.
It's the lower of the two, but I'd say wisdom to try and resist it.
That's right.
That's a 12.
You're all in danger tonight. You didn't even know it. Tithla, back in your bed, you suddenly wake up as a pillow begins being placed over your head as you look up in Nikolai's eyes. He goes, "I'm sorry, but my sister really needs your kidneys." No.
If I must.
Oh, too nice. Killian, 12. It is very hard to resist, and there is this sudden feeling of almost like connection, and you watch as the blade forms in your hand. Jonor, behind you, there's this sudden pop and then a rush of sound, and as you turn back towards Killian, because I think you just said, like, oh, Killian, as you turn back, you can see Killian's sword is slowly starting to form in his hand.
Oh, there's nothing around here. I was about to say, he clearly walked here and he's now disappeared. There's nothing here.
How am I feeling?
Killian,
how am I feeling?
I mean, let's lay this out real simple. You beseeched your god Kelemfor. There was no reply. But this voice, a voice that you've heard before in your subconscious, a voice that has offered you things in trade, has promised you if you can just get the blood of a spellcaster. It doesn't even have to be all of it. If you can just get the blood of a spellcaster, it can start to really give you power, can heal you, can restore you. I mean, how tempted is Killian? This is a test of Killian.
I think we're rolling a 12 on my wisdom save, I think, and with how long he's had this injury on his neck for, because it feels like it's been forever for him. It's like you can't understand how somebody could go so long with an injury and
without any healing. I know.
Without any healing at all.
Yeah, I think that things happen.
I know.
I think you would just look towards. I'd look towards Jonor, and you'd see that his eyes, the irises go from a brown to yellow, like almost like a Sith type thing.
Not the younglings.
Not the younglings. Sorry, Jonor, you're a youngling, and I'm sorry.
As Jonor turns around and goes, Master Killian, there's no one here. There's nothing here, Master Killian.
What's we going to do?
What do we do, Master Killian?
I need to do, and I just instinctively lunge forward at him. Go to,
make me an attack roll.
To slash at him.
Righto, Brutus.
This is. I did say that the corruption of Barovia can strike in many ways. I didn't quite expect it to strike so hard and so fast, if I'm being honest. This is brutal.
That's a 24.
24. Jonor, how you looking? Is that hit?
That'll do it.
Please roll me damage, Killian, as you Jonor, in a sudden moment, as you turn back towards Killian, you watch as he summons his sword and then stabs you through, I'm going to say, the side. As it cuts through, you kind of turn into the blade, and as it cuts along your side, 9 points. 9 points of slashing damage as the blade cuts through your side. There's this sudden moment of shock, and as you put your hand down against your side, Jonor, you watch as the blood doesn't flow and starts soaking through your clothes. Instead, it pulls through your fingers, moving down Killian's blade, this bright red, vibrant blood with a very faint, almost goldish glow to it. And as it begins spiraling down the blade, Jonor, could I get you to please roll me a D100? You are an Aasimar, which means your blood contains an aspect of divinity to it. I want to see what this does to the entity that is trying to get things from Killian.
I was going to make a comment about an angel and a devil, angel and a demon working together.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, just a flat D100.
That was a 12.
12 on the D100.
Yeah.
Okay. Killian. As the blood begins to flow down the blade, you look up into Jonor's eyes, and you can see this look of shock and betrayal. Would that be fair to say, Jonor?
There's a lot of shock. There's going to be disbelief to start with. He believes that he's gone into like an alternative universe. He's like seeing what's happened to Grinner, and then like the pain hits him, and he just coughs out a big spurt of blood, some like going over his cloak, and then looking down at the blade, expecting it to brush out, but rather than doing that, it's done what you've said.
Yeah, I mean, and the blade like sort of stabs through and slashes, and as it pulls away, the blood flows with it. As you cough up this globule of blood, it doesn't even hit the cloak. It immediately pulls down onto the sword, being pulled away and pulled from you. Jonor, we're going to give you an action / bonus action in a moment. We're going to finish this bit with Killian first, because this is technically a pseudo initiative. As the blood begins to flow down Killian's blade, Killian, you hear in your mind, "Yes, Killian, very good. What is this? This aspect, this touch." And as the blood begins to flow through, the voice begins to grow fainter. Killian. And as it does so, you feel this itching all across your hand and arm. And as you look down, you watch as bone begins to push through the skin, growing as your wrist bones reform and grow from the spot, closely followed by muscles, nerves, capillaries, arteries, and veins growing across as finally the skin covers it, your hand regrown. And then suddenly the revulsion, the understanding of what you've done hits you in this sudden moment. Jonor, you watch as Killian's hand regrows over the course of about 6 seconds. It is your turn. What do you want to do?
He, at this point, is going to... having him, like, standing over the top of him, looking up at him. He's dropped to his knees, seeing, like... does Jonor's life feel like he's being drained from him, or is it just like the blood's pooling? Is there anything? Does he know if there's some magic going on, like where he's being like necromantically absorbed?
No more than the damage that you received. That damage,
sure.
that strike, it seems to be draining something from you, but no more than that itself. No more than the 9 hit points. There is nothing more than that.
He drops to the knees, looks up at Killian, and he says the words, "Run away, run away. Would you kindly run away?"
As you cast suggestion. Nice. Killian, I'm going to need a...
Counterspell.
Okay. Would you like to counterspell this?
Yeah, I'll counterspell it.
Oh, shit. Okay. Your counterspell automatically will beat... a suggestion, unless Jonor casting it at a higher level.
No, the second level there.
Second level. Killian, as you cast counterspell, this sudden surge of horror and revulsion, not quite enough to prevent your battle instincts. And as you watch Jonor essentially begin casting this magic, the air glowing with glyphs around him as he because it's verbal and somatic for suggestion, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's... Oh no, just verbal and material. As Jonor pulls out of his pack a snake's tongue and some honeycomb, and then like crushes it in his hands, and then as it turns to dust, he goes, "Run away!" As you watch him pull out spellcasting components, you immediately counterspell, breaking the magic and stopping it in its tracks. Your hand, Killian, as you look at it, it's almost a little bit emaciated, a little bit skeletal. It looks like the hand of someone who hasn't eaten in a very, very long time. It's almost slightly smaller and withered. But as you move it, you can feel it moves normally, feels normal. Jonor, that's your action. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Yeah, seeing he pulls out those components and he's going to like start casting them, and they've just like disintegrated in his hand. It sort of washes away in the wind. That would start to terrify him, and the fight or flight really kicks in at that point. Seeing the blade being right in front of him, he's going to grab...
there's one thing I should add, Jonor. As Killian's hand regrew, as your blood flowed down the blade retracted and shrunk in time with the voice in Killian's mind growing fainter and fainter. And as the blood flows back into the thing, Killian, your sword is gone for the moment, but your hand is restored.
We were near an edge. Is he near an edge?
30 feet from an edge, yeah.
30 feet? Okay. His wings are going to pop out the back, and with the All Might flush, like whooshing of his wings, he's going to try and push Killian away from him with the telekinesis.
Yeah, nice. Absolutely. Killian, I believe, is this a strength save, Killian?
Yeah, strength against DC 15.
You can choose to fail this if you want to, Josh. Obviously. It's up to you. It's up to Killian, I guess.
I think with the absorbing divine blood, I think that sort of knocked him out of his effectively murder hobo intent at the minute. So the eyes revert back to their normal colour, and I've just got this look of shock on my face, and I won't resist being pushed away.
Jonor, you see Killian just take this. There's no effort to dodge. He just looks up, almost, I'd say, looking shocked and a little bit maybe remorseful, sort of flickering across Killian's face. Yeah, this look of intense remorse. And as you push him back, how many feet do you push him back?
5 foot.
5 foot. Killian, as you're pushed back 5 foot, tumbling into the snow. Jonor, if you wanted to use your movement, it's all yours.
Yeah, he's fucking running. He's going straight down the way he came.
Jonor begins
wide berth of him, and away he goes.
pegging it down the mountain. Killian, it is your turn as Jonor runs 30 feet down the mountain. Actually, you've still got your wings out. Did you want to... Or are they just appearing for the telekinetic
He can't
shove?
fly. He's used it.
I thought so.
That was right, yeah.
Just for flavour. Jonor just starts sprinting off down the
That's
mountain. Killian, you watch as Jonor, clearly scared of you, begins sprinting away at high speed.
I'm. Is my neck healed up? Is it just a hand?
As you feel at the side of your neck, the puncture wounds, they're gone.
I'm sorry, Jonor. I try to say. My voice feels a bit funny. And then I'll stand up and walk towards the edge of the cliff. Strahd, you bastard! No, I'm joking. I'm not going to do that.
Oh, that would have been good if you had, though. That would have been fun.
I'm going to try and summon my sword again.
As you do so, as you reach your hand out, you feel this moment of resistance before the sword suddenly into position. In your mind, you hear Killian. Good. Very good, Killian. Yes, as was promised, so I have delivered. But this blood, it is tainted with divinity. I need more.
The deal was not worth it. I do not want to hurt my friends. I do not want to be forced to do something. I said to you I'd give you blood of a spellcaster, but not my friends.
You did this, not me. And you did it
I've
so
had enough.
well.
You've served your purpose. I no longer require you, and I'm going to throw the sword and the jug over the cliff edge.
Okay, Jonor, you're only 30 feet away. You see him do this. As the sword flies in the air, the jug too, the sword suddenly slams back into your hand, killing the jug, still sailing away. And as the sword reforms in your hand, you hear, "Did you really think you could get rid of me that?" And then as the jug smashes into the ground below and the blood splatters over the snow, there's this sudden pause. Now, Killian, let's not be hasty. There's still time, still so much we can do together. Just come down. Come on, what are you afraid of? This is power, Killian, this is what you... always... on... And then the voice grows quiet, and you watch as the sword in your hand slowly begins to freeze, as the blood that's been scattered across the icy rocks and snow does. And then slowly, bit by bit, the sword begins to fall apart into shards of ice.
Just throw it over the edge. Does my hand stay, or does it dissolve?
Hand stays as is. This emaciated, very much like in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood when when Edward gets his hand back, his arm back, and it's all like withered. It's not like fully grown.
I was imagining like a little Deadpool hand.
No, that's horrific and would have totally taken us out of the. That's funny. We can't do that. Yeah, it's like almost like skeletal-like hand.
Throw the blood dust basically over
Yeah,
the edge.
as you chuck the fragments of the sword over, I'd say that's a full turn, maybe in a bit. Jonor, I mean, you would see this behind you as you see Killian just throw this out, the jug and the sword. What do you do on your turn?
Seeing him throw that out stops what action he would have taken. Jonor stops and turns. Killian, what the fuck was that? And at this point, he's starting to. There's some wind that is starting to. There's snowfall falling down, and rather than like hitting the ground beside them, there's sort of like an orbit that starts to swarm around him. You can hear a bit of like a crackle forming around his hands, and he's starting to look at you. And he stopped what he was about to do, seeing you throw that away and have some remorse. You better explain yourself right now, or you're going to be off the edge.
It's what I deserve. Something's happened to his voice.
We're going to
what I
pause
deserve.
that there, just because I think that's a longer conversation, and I want to make sure we give it the time it deserves. Just like Killian's going to get what he deserves. I want to make sure it gets the time it deserves. Theo, we're going to jump back with you. You've been waiting so patiently there, Haz, laughing at all of the shit that's been going on. Now it's your turn to shovel the shit. Theo, setting up down in the basement of the old Burgomaster's Manor of Vallaki is a rather grim experience. This basement probably was once used for other things, and Ismark and Arena haven't been around long enough to clear out all of the shit. There are still cages on the far wall that have not been removed yet, having the bars being set into the stonework. There are handcuffs, manacles still on the floor in certain places. The old Burgomaster of Vallaki, you know, was a monster. You saw the things he was capable of. Ismark and Arena have just had other priorities, and getting all of his shit out of their basement has not been high enough on that list. It is grim. But you do benefit from a long rest. Arena and Ismark are there with you. The Abbot is there with you as well, down in the basement. You all may benefit from a long rest. As
nothing happens during, so we're all safe and sound.
As far as you're aware, all safe and sound.
It is a bit grim down here, but at least we are safe. There's no other way in or out. If anything comes down, Captain Amelia will notify us. So
Amelia's there at the top of the stairs. Like, as she turns towards you and hears you say that, she goes, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure you'll know about shit happening the second I do. If someone bursts in from the fucking upstairs room and I have to cut them down, you're going to see them only a second after me. Like, you'll know. I'll be making a point. It's not going to be me coming and telling you. You'll be aware."
That's what I expected. It was more of a turn of phrase.
Oh, right, sorry. Maybe don't use all that fucking complicated, educated language around me then, huh? Just a simple guard.
I'm not educated. I grew up in the forest.
She just shakes her head. Fuck, no, where's the humour? Where's the fun? I want good banter. Where's that drunk guy?
Who knows? He could be anywhere from an abbey to a haunted castle.
More fun than a fucking basement. It's grim, isn't it? Ismark sort of nods, going, "Yeah, I wish we'd cleaned out more of this stuff. Just didn't seem like our highest priority at the time, but I really regret not getting rid of the manacles. This is, spend as little time down here as we need to."
Yes, I think we try and get some rest. In some mornings, the Abbot will take Arena and I back to the Abbey, and hopefully this will all resolve itself nicely.
Yes, you did not want me to use... Oh, sorry, I'm using Strahd's voice, my bad. Sorry. Oh no! He's in the basement the whole time! As Arena tears off her mask and reveals that she's been Strahd all along.
He's Strahd.
He was German, wasn't he? Yes, I will make sure that I get you back safe and sound to the monastery. Upon my word, you will be safe. You are far too important. And you, Druid, you will be able to turn into this tiny insect again.
Yes, or the rat that can talk with my mind?
Yes, that is right. The rat with the strange headpiece. Yeah, if you can do that again, I can get you and this woman back safely to the Abbey. I do not need to sleep. I can keep watch, and it will give me a chance to heal, focus on regaining my strengths.
Yes, sounds wise. Arena, Ismark, I think I'll give you what little privacy we can down here. I suspect you want to spend some time together before we part in the morning.
Ismark, you can see, is still struggling with almost like an anger at the situation. And yeah, as he sort of like, you can see him kind of struggling a little bit, and then, "Thanks, Theo. That'd be great."
I give him a little pat on the shoulder. If there was any other way that we could think of, we would do it, but we just simply do not have time. We only learned why she is significant like an hour or so ago when I flew over with the Abbot.
Yeah. I understand. Well, I don't, but it's Arena's decision. She's on board, so I guess I'm on board, is what I'm saying.
I'll give you two some space, and then we'll go over and do some druidy shit for a couple of hours. Before,
Thank you, Theo. I would like the chance to speak with Aasimar and maybe get him to stop being such an ass.
I think that is quite harsh. He's just cares for you. Do not be too hard on him. He is doing his best. It is possibly as hard for him as it is for you to make this decision.
To be honest, I think it's harder. I've always known that there was something that I'd have to do when I was older. I always felt that there was something unfinished from my past. I didn't know who I was, I didn't know where I was from, and I don't know, it felt like there was a ghost life there. Something I had to do that I hadn't yet done. And if this is it, I face my fate willingly. I turn my face towards it, not my back.
That is braver than I could have done myself.
You'll have your chance, I am sure. I just hope this works and you and your friends can get home. I hope this is what is needed.
Look, I hope we can get more out of it than that. I hope we can make this place somewhere that is happy for you all to live.
That sounds nice. That sounds really nice.
Perfect. With that, yeah, you have the long rest as you are awoken in the morning by Sergeant Amelia butting you with the end of her spear in the head to wake you up.
Oi! Yeah, fucking great lookout you are. Just been sleeping the whole night?
Oh, well, I was not meant to be a lookout. The abbot was staying up the whole time, so...
Oh yeah, we trust him, don't we?
Well, he's a bit creepy, but he wants nothing more than Arena to stay alive, so in that respect, yes, I trust him.
I'll give you a hint about people. It's a lesson I learned long ago. I don't know if you've learned it yet. You can't trust them. Yeah?
You can when they need something that you have.
Yeah, but you're trusting that you know what that is. Do you reckon you do?
I know that he wants Arena, and I know that we currently have Arena. Not to treat you like an object, but the fact is, until he gets what he wants, he will behave in a manner that is predictable, at least for him.
Yeah, I've seen that look in people's eyes before, mate. He's desperate. Really desperate. If you think you can predict... Yeah, great combo that. If you think you can predict what he's going to do. I mean, fuck, if you can, then you're a wiser man than I've ever met. Good luck is all I'm saying. Keep watch on him. Treat him like some sort of dangerous snake or something that's stuck in a boot.
Well, I have been, but I will, to a certain extent, have to trust him with mine and her life, so... It is the shit situation we are in. I
nah,
trust him.
You don't have to trust him one bit. Have a backup plan. You've got a backup plan, right? If this all goes pear-shaped and he turns on you?
Yes, I do.
Good, perfect. Well then, yeah. My advice has always been trust but verify. Yeah?
Yeah. To be fair, out of all the insane, powerful people in this realm, he is the one that chooses to help the sick and injured, so...
I've heard stories about what goes on at the Abbey of Kresk. Not everyone comes back, mate.
I mean, no, but some people do, which is honestly still better than what happens if you go to Castle Ravenloft or the Amber Temple or somewhere else fucked up like that.
Yeah, I've heard fucked up stories about the Amber Temple. Don't go near that place. Yeah?
I've heard that.
Yeah.
You probably will, it's what to do, but hopefully not if this all pans out.
I hope it does. Good luck. Alright, I'm gonna wake Aasimar. He was sleeping too. Should I hit him with a spear as well?
Don't be gentle with him. I think he is probably a bit...
Oi, fuck face! And she pulls out a apple and throws it at him.
So is he Burgomaster?
Yeah, making sure he doesn't get too big for his boots. You saw what happened to the last Burgomaster. Yeah? Maniacal, megalomaniac, insane.
Large for boots.
Aasimar sort of sits up rubbing his head like, what the fuck? Seriously? Throwing apples now?
I do worry that when I take Arena away, he may be targeted as a pawn, but there are only so many people that can protect at once, so it will be on you and the guards to keep Aasimar safe until we can get back.
She leans into you. Yeah, I mean, he's actually a good man. Like, actually, genuinely, decently good. We're going to do everything we can to keep him safe. I mean, he's clever, he's switched on. He was born to do this job.
can do everything I can to keep him safe.
To get him in, like, we fix this.
Yeah, it's also my job to stop him becoming a massive cunt like the last one, so I'm going to also do that too.
You couldn't have stopped the last one from becoming a cunt?
No, probably not. But I think I can with this one. He listens to us. He actually cares what we think. How weird's that?
No, there's a good quality for a leader.
Right? But we need to make sure he keeps caring about it. I don't want him thinking that... Like, look, let me just say, this job does weird things to people being in charge. He seems like the sort of person who can resist it, but I'm just going to play it safe. Make sure he doesn't get too big of a head. You know?
Power corrupts.
Oh, I like that. Power corrupts. That's good, that is.
Could probably expand that with some absolutely's, but
Power corrupts absolutely. Yeah, I like that. It's good.
Chuck one more absolutely in there for fun.
I think so.
Power corrupts absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely, everybody.
You're a philosopher already.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
But just keep him safe. We will return as soon as we can. Once this whole business is concluded.
Oh, are you bringing Irina back? I thought this was a permanent thing taken to the Abbey.
No. Well, we'll see if we need Plan B.
Right. All right. If you need anything, I want you to know now, right? The guards of Alaki will have your back, as well as anyone else we can like force into service if it's like a big conflict or things like that. There's some people we can get to join. If you need a fighting force, boots on the ground and whatnot, we're yours to command. We owe you our lives.
So the Wokta guard is less than existent.
Good. I fucking hate those Woktas. Their guards are basically nothing more than hired muscle criminals that we were supposed to put away, bailed out by Lady fucking Wokta. Great. Fantastic. Happy that they're dead.
I mean, they did help us with the bloodless coup.
Yeah, but not because they wanted to, only because that they were facing annihilation, if not. It was self-preservation at that point. They weren't helping because they thought it was the right thing to do. They were helping because that's where the money was.
Well, and because their master, Nikolai Wokta, told them to.
Yeah, why is he not more of a cunt like his mum? He seems alright.
He is. I think you should probably give him more credit than the others of his family.
I mean, he's trying to look after his sister.
Who killed his whole family really puts things into perspective for him.
Yeah, we've got a lead on that gnome, by the way.
Well, you do? You've seen him?
Yeah, well, no, I haven't seen him, but there was a sighting a few days ago.
Whereabouts?
Headed towards the town of Kresk.
Are you sure to see town of Kresk?
Yeah, 100%.
Not saying the other detours, the fort or the...
Oh, I mean, it could have been for the Wizard's Tower, I don't know. But there was a report.
This is troubling news indeed. Well, thank you for passing that along. I believe I should get to the Abbot and get us back to the Abbey safely.
Sounds good. I'll keep an eye on Aasimar and the rest of the town. Father Petrovich will be sad he missed you.
Yes, I would have liked to stop in to see the father, but I feel there is not time for social calls.
Probably best. As you sort of finish wrapping up talking to Sergeant Amelia, you can see Aasimar and Irina have finished getting ready. Aasimar getting back into his clothes after wearing just night clothes for the evening. Excuse me. The Abbot's just been seated cross-legged at the base of the stairs. You're pretty sure he just sat there watching Irina sleep all night. Like, creepy dude. When he said he wasn't going to take his eyes off her, he seemed to mean that quite literally. Irina is dressed much more in adventurer-style clothing. The traveling clothes that you saw her wear on the trip between Barovia and Vallaki, she has donned once again, but this time with a much longer cloak. Fur lined around the collar and hood, and you can see that the inside of the cloak actually has little hidden pockets, including one where she's loading crossbow bolts as well. Some with stone arrowheads, some with metal arrowheads, and some with no arrowheads at all, just wooden crossbow bolts. As she loads them into the pockets of the cloak, hidden away. When she pulls the cloak down and shrugs into it, there's no sign of these from the outside. Perfectly hidden.
Very good. It's coming strapped, as they say, it will be of benefit to us. Abbott, are you in better forms this morning? Have you recovered?
Yeah, I have had plenty of opportunity to regain my strength. I feel much more able, much stronger. I have had time to focus my energies after the spell that I cast on your goblin friends and then your unfortunate wolf-touched friends. I am feeling much more focused this morning. I have had time to concentrate and to beseech Lythander for his blessing. I feel that we have it this day. In the grace of the sun, we will make our way back to the Abbey. We will have success this day.
Good. So you need to cast a spell on Irina to make her more portable?
No spell required.
Oh, so last night you were going to cast a spell.
Irina goes like, yeah, no, didn't we decide we weren't going to have him cast magic that he could potentially lose control of, and we were going to wait for him to regain his strength so he could fly me just as is? I thought that's why we stayed the night.
I thought we were doing it so he would be able to use a spell and not lose control, but yeah, no, if he can just fly you, that's fine.
Yes, but you will need to be in your roach form, in your rat form, in your smaller form. Otherwise, yes. I will not be able to carry both of you. The spell I'm going to cast on her is not one to change form, but one to change her weight, to make her weigh less. It is one that does not change the physicality, just the way that the world interacts with you.
Okay, yes. Well, shall we then?
You watch
Do you
as
expect any interference like we had last night?
I think by doing this in the daytime, we are much more likely to succeed without interference. Even though this land is sort of cast in eternal shadow, I do think that we will have more success with the outside of the touch of the night.
I can do this transformation a couple of times. If something does approach, I think the best course of action will be to throw me in my rat form at the target, and I will take care of them. You fly Irina onwards to the Abbey.
Yeah, a sound strategy. Yes. Hang on. But how are you going to catch up to us? And if we're flying, you're just going to fall, aren't you?
Oh, well, I will hit the target, transform into something bigger than a rat, and hope we will all fall together. And then I will make my way on foot back to the Abbey.
Theo, I don't like this plan. There's a lot of danger here for you. You could die.
There's a lot of danger for all of us, but don't worry about me. If I'm in my animal form, if I crash into the ground, I'll just pop back into my usual happy goat self.
Okay, but please, let's not take unnecessary risks, okay?
What came last night, either to your window or to us while we were flying, comes again. We will have no choice but to do something. The Abbot cannot fly you in your person form light as you are and fight, so all we can do is rat cannon.
I understand. Very well. With that, you watch as the Abbot begins casting a spell on Irina. The magic that swirls around her, as he goes to lift her up, she seems, as he chucks her up, she falls slowly back towards the ground again, seemingly a little bit more weightless than she was before.
Cool.
As the Abbot casts a varied form of Featherfall.
And I will turn into a rat with a big bulging brain.
Animorph style as you collapse into yourself, and yeah. So roach is what you roach when you become roach. What's the rat sound? I just need to know.
Well, I mean, I imagine just a slight pulsing sound, because I can talk with my mind now, so I can still project my thoughts now. So
do you sound like yourself still, or do you have a ratty kind of voice?
I'm going to say I sound like myself because I struggle to do the accent as is, let alone a slightly ratty, terrible French accent.
Can you give us a Remy, just for fun?
Get even more French. It just ups the French.
It just makes you more French.
Oh, I am
amazing. Find me a chef, and I will make him create the most beautiful dishes. As you become basically Remy from
anyone can cook.
Fucking Ratatouille. Perfect. With that, as the Abbot takes off, Irina holds you in your rat form, keeping you safe, clutched up to her chest. As the Abbot lifts his arm around her shoulders and begins taking off and flying off into the sky, you watch as the people of Vallaki look up and see this pointing and going, as the Abbot, again, these
beautiful white golden wings emerging from his back. Having mostly healed, you can see the damage to his left wing has actually mostly regenerated overnight. There's still a patch where the feathers are darkened and blackened, almost like the node of the feather has died, and this necrotic energy is still there. It has not been removed fully yet. But as you take off and begin flying through the crisp morning air, the fog that has rolled out over the land of Barovia below makes it almost look like you're flying above a sea of clouds. Someone's pointed out that Remy had an American accent. Yeah, but he should have had a French accent. I think we all know that. So it's one of those. It's like when you play Assassin's Creed Unity. You don't listen to it in English. You put on the French voice actors and then read the subtitles, because that's the only way you can play that. As you fly back towards the town of Kresk and towards the Abbey, we're going to jump back with Grinner very quickly. I feel like we should end with a little bit more of Grinner's tale. Grinner.
Between his legs, running like a little bitch.
as you feel that sudden vice-like grip on the back of your jacket, catching some of your skin, cutting into your flesh, the claw-like fingernails of Strahd, as he lifts you up into the air and slowly turns you around to face him. What? You thought you could run? Really? You thought you could run from me? Boy, I am the land. I am this place.
I think... Fuck.
It's always good when you hear Raph say that, because it's either going to be a sudden, like, realignment of plans or a double down like you've never seen. Those are the only two options. There's no middle ground. I can't wait, Raph. What have you got for us? It's a treble down. Let's go.
Grinner's going to try to scrabble in his pack for a second, blindly, still trying to keep eye contact with Strahd. And he's just going to say, "Oh, fuck, I'm so fucking sorry, kids." And he's going to pull out the only wooden thing that he has, which is a torch, and he's going to try and punch the torch into Strahd while Strahd's busy holding him up.
You try and, like, hit him in the face.
Quadruple down.
You're gonna try and hit him in the face with it.
He's trying to punch the torch into Strahd's chest. Even though it's blunt, it's the only wooden thing that he has.
You're trying to stake him with a torch.
Yes.
Roll me an attack with an improvised simple weapon, please.
Simple weapon.
Holy shit! It is, as has called out, it is a quadruple down. It's actually way worse. It's way worse. So much worse than I thought.
Down.
Oh no, that didn't do the thing that it was supposed to do. Hold on, I rolled the wrong thing. Oh, so good.
Let's put some different music on for this last bit.
Get real dramatic.
You're on death looming.
I mean, you could have broke it on your knee, then stabbed him with the sharp end.
You just got inside that chat like you planned to. Oh, here we are.
He's saying he can't run. He's suddenly realized that he's going to give all this info away.
More than you already did?
Mistakes have been made.
What did you roll? I can't see it yet. What did you roll?
It didn't come up. It was a...
Oh, it's come through now. 4. Oh, no.
It was the...
All damage first, so 16.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
With the damage of 4.
I was going to say, I thought that was a 4 to hit. And I was like, holy shit. We're putting on a track called House of Horrors. That seems rather appropriate, I think.
House.
Okay.
This is the home of horrors.
Yeah, this is bad. I mean,
I would like to retcon the last 2 sessions.
No. I think you know that's not an option.
Onto the find out portion of
I think you're well aware that's not on the cards right now. 16 is the DC, Grinner.
Oh.
Well, he's holding you up in the air. He's a little bit distracted. I don't think he was expecting you to try and stake him with a torch. So this hits. You deal 4 bludgeoning damage.
Are we about to win?
As this happens, you watch as the stake plunges through into his heart. He lets out this ungodly scream, and as he fades into ash, Grinner, you drop another 60 feet from the sky. No, obviously none of that happens. As you stab into him. As you try and stab him with a blunt piece of wood, he just like turns towards you. It doesn't even seem to have done anything. You can't see any sign of, as you stab this into him, it just sort of like hits his chest and then kind of just like moves away a little bit. Strahd looks down at you. This look of disdain. Oh, so boring. Oh well, if this is the way you want to do it, this is the way we're going to do this. I'm going to say that we're in pseudo-initiative. Grinner, that's your action. You still have a bonus action. For the purposes of movement, you are grappled as he is holding you up in the air.
So I do get a second action.
Yes, would you like to take a second attack?
Yes.
Okay.
This time I'm trying to... Have you guys seen Pan's Labyrinth?
Yes, love Pan's Labyrinth.
You know that scene with the bottle and the farmers?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so that.
Oh,
in
God.
Strad's face.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah. Roll me another attack.
Was that in the eye? Was that?
Yeah, you're on the right track. You're on the right track.
Okay, I'm watching the video of it now.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah.
Oh no.
My advice is don't. If you don't, yeah. Is Tommy, you watching it too?
You broke poor Thomas.
Tommy, you okay, buddy?
He's done.
Regret.
Grinner. I mean,
Pan's Labyrinth, brutal moment.
Yeah. Grinner, 23 hits, 4 more damage. This time you this time aiming for his face. You said you're trying to bottle him, Pan's Labyrinth bottle him. As you get the wood, you like stab it into his face. You watch as the wood cuts through his cheek, and as the wood scrapes against it and moves back, you can see you've left this cut along his cheekbone. As he slowly opens the eye that he instinctively closed as you jammed this piece of wood into his face. Anything else on your turn? You still got bonus action.
Bonus action, pray.
I'm gonna look.
I'm really sorry, mate. I don't know what I was thinking.
I'm gonna. Nah, seeing that that's not doing anything, he's just dead set going to look. He's probably holding Strahd's wrist with one hand while he's trying to do this with the other. I'm gonna say the hand that he's holding with is the one with the mark on it, and he's just gonna whisper into it. I'm so fucking sorry, kids. I hope you find a way out. I hope you can find the others. And that's it. That's his turn.
Grinner. Strahd is going to, first off, reach up with his left hand, the one that's not holding you, and slash it down across your chest. Does a 17 hit you?
Yes, it does.
That's going to be 11 points of slashing damage plus 14 points of necrotic damage.
Okay.
He is then going to pull you closer and bite you. Does a... Yep, I know. This isn't great. Does a 21's going to hit you then?
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be 9 points of piercing damage.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just roll the necrotic damage. Sorry, that's not coming through. There we go. 12 points of necrotic damage.
Grinner's down.
And that is reduced to 0 hit points by the necrotic damage.
Yep.
Grinner. The last... Yeah. Grinner, the last thing you see as you whisper out that apology to the two children, the last thing you see is their ghostly forms reaching out, trying to get in the way, trying to block this brutal attack. But they're not substantial enough. They're not there. and all they can do is grab on and try and pull you out, your soul, as your body is torn to shreds by Strahd. You watch as your ghostly form begins to pull away, the children trying to get you out of the grip of this monster, this being. But all you feel is cold and dark. And the last thing you see is the swirling mists of Barovia, filled with the souls of all those who've come before, all those who've died here, trapped forever. But with the horrible, inescapable knowledge that your body still lives on in undeath. And that is where we're going to wrap up for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. It's been fun. Thank you very much. We will see you all again next week. Raph, obviously, for the next little bit, I'm going to have you be playing a different character. We'll talk about that behind the scenes. We've already had a bit of a chat about a backup character for you. I will get to work on that artwork, and I will try and have it ready by next Monday. Yeah. And we will introduce your new character. The last horrifying realization Grinner has is that it's not just his soul trapped within the mists now. Rose and Thorn are as well. So, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this rather brutal session of Curse of Strahd.
Actually, my first character death in any campaign I've played or DM'd in.
Oh, man. Well, to be fair, it's almost guaranteed when I'm playing a campaign.
The thing is, right, I obviously want to avoid, like, character death where I can as a DM, but there still have to be consequences for your actions, realistic consequences. Otherwise, it's just, like, Isekai in another world having fun. So, yeah, keen to have Grinner the White back. Oh, I love the idea of, like, Tithla being like, Grinner! Yeah, that's what they used to call me. Grinner.
I remember that.
I'm Schmiler. Yeah, not to undo the tenseness of that moment, but yeah, unfortunately that is the natural consequences of those actions. If you're watching this on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We're going to go and raid another lovely channel. I think we might go and raid our... Oh, Critnamiss are playing Starfields. We do like Critnamiss, but I don't like Starfield. So let's go raid someone else playing Dungeons and Dragons. Let's have a quick look. Who can we help out with some D&D stuff? Oh, looks like there's a group here. IceXOX who are playing... oh no, they're doing session prep. I want to try and do a group. Here we go. Joshua the Rad. Looks like they're playing. It's an Australian group, and they're doing Winter's Sorrow, which sounds to me like a homebrew campaign. I'm a big fan of anyone doing homebrew campaigns. Let's go raid them. So for those of you watching on YouTube and on the podcast, thank you so much. It's been lovely sharing this with you. If you do have a chance to hit that subscribe button, we would very much appreciate it. But from all of us here tonight, stay safe. Stay well, and don't antagonize the immortal vampire ruler of a ancient land sealed away in the domains of dread, would be my advice.
Or don't do a Grinner for short.
Yeah, don't do a Grinner. Thank you so much, everybody. We will see you all again next time. Until then, farewell, everybody. Goodbye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Bye.